just
you
are
read
polar
that?
opposites.
Is that the one for the, out at the pickleball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just stare and I'm like, I don't know what to say to you. Like I'm too tired.
Yeah.
Because I know if I say this is gonna be the argument. If I say that, it's just like, we're just gonna let it ride.
But she's only 5.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, well, you know what they say. When you have
Yeah.
kids, it's, because there was,
Buckle up.
yep. It's 6 o'clock.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our Monday, January 26, 2026 Cascade City Council meeting. We'll have a call to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Rayford,
Here.
Weber,
Here.
Gale,
Here.
Delaney.
Here.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Gale,
Second.
second by Weber. All in favor?
Aye.
Before public comment, I'd like to recognize all the workers at Cascade Public Utilities for their hard work manning the generators going into the weekend to keep our lights on. They did an awesome job, and it makes you realize how dependent you are on the service that they provide. So they all did an absolute great job. Thank you. Public comment, you have a limit of 3 minutes per person on agenda items and local government issues. Seeing none, consent agenda, city council minutes, 1/12/26, FEH design, 11-month post-occupancy library walkthrough, 1/12/26, Cascade Public Library minutes, 1/12/26, Cascade Economic Development Corporation minutes, 12/17/25, Visa invoice in the amount of $2,153.14, January 26, 2026 claims. Is there any questions about the consent agenda? If none, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Weber,
I'll second.
second by Delaney. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, Hayes Street Southwest Reconstruction Sidewalk Discussion.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you,
Jake
Jake.
Deaver, MSA Professional Services Dubuque. I have with me Hunter Nix. He's the main designer on the project. So we had a meeting Wednesday at 5 o'clock here with the property owners. All save one were able to attend. Had discussion on what the existing conditions were, what we were dealing with as far as the existing sidewalk. It appears is about halfway on private property, and what their thoughts were on if we construct it as is, back to existing conditions, we need permanent easement or right-of-way from the owners to put it back, or if they want sidewalk at all. And there was discussion, we had good discussion, meeting probably pushed an hour. And then we got to the end and Deanna just asked them for a vote, and every one of them said they prefer not to put the sidewalk back. So I don't know if there's any questions from council on the issue. It's a pretty unique situation where existing right-of-way doesn't accommodate existing conditions for the public infrastructure, so.
What's the width of the existing sidewalk?
4
And that's required?
4 foot's minimum.
What would that do to shift the corridor over 2 feet and stay with the 4-foot sidewalk?
You're talking about
We don't need to do that.
put 4 foot, keep 4 foot sidewalk on that side, put it at the edge of the existing right of way, shift center line over 2 foot approximately to the east.
Yeah.
We looked at that roughly. You'll have that we might have to take a few more panels on some of those driveways to get them to
Driveways.
work if we push that curb line over. And then when you get to Fifth, you'll have a transition, so as
Where
you
you-
look north
yeah.
and south on that back of curb, when we get to that intersection, we'll transition that approximately 2 foot. So you'll see the back of curb transition, that it won't line up. It would be a couple, so at the Simon property, then there'd be like approximately 2 foot from the front face of that existing retaining wall to the edge of sidewalk. That would be private property that, I don't know if we put rock back or whatever the owners would want to do there. If that's what council decides, is to put it back and just shift the roadway over to the east to accommodate it. We'll probably have to get creative with that existing intake that runs down to the hill, because then part of our roadway will
Would
shift over.
go past
Probably have to
that.
put some sort of structural beam in there.
Yeah.
So we don't want to rip out, that intake's in good shape, and it's probably 12 or 15 grand to rip it out and replace it. So we probably can do something that will accommodate it. It's not gonna be that expensive. The England property also has a retaining wall at the edge of right-of-way that we'd have to talk to that owner if they want the retaining wall pulled out, and we'll grade the yardway back, or if they want to keep the retaining wall, then there'll be, approximately same thing, about 2 foot from the face of that retaining wall to the edge of the sidewalk, if we put the sidewalk on the edge of the existing right-of-way. So it's doable if we want to shift the road,
Yeah.
which isn't ideal, but
It's also doable if we get a construction right away and tear it out and replace it.
dealing with the owners to get permanent easement for the sidewalk.
Why do we don't need permanent easement?
To have the public infrastructure reside on private property,
So if we take the sidewalk out and somebody gets hurt on that street, we took it out
And you cause the,
and we caused that there's no sidewalk on that street, who are they gonna come after? Not every one of these people sitting here.
right,
They're coming back after the city.
that's potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that, but yeah.
Yeah. Safety is a big thing.
Yeah, but Dan and I both, I talked to people within MSA, and Deanna talked to the city's legal counsel, and to put the sidewalk back as it is on private property, either need to take right away or get a permanent easement for the sidewalk.
And to take permanent right away, who gets paid to do that?
Well, there's acquisition plats that we'd have to create that would be $5,000-6,000, and then
Yep.
you'd have to pay the property owners.
Who does that? You?
We do it, or they can talk to Tuba or whoever.
No, that's not. It's,
if you go that route, everybody ends up with a brand-new sidewalk, so going forward, they're never gonna have to replace.
and they all bought a house with the sidewalk on it, correct? So why do we take it out?
And not put it back?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to do it or not do it. But to put it back where it is now,
You have all
Where
the
else
other-
you gonna put it?
you either have to have agreeable property owners, or the city's gotta be willing to go through condemnation,
Which costs more money.
which that's gonna be legal fees.
Why wasn't this caught when you first did it?
Because no one knew where that right-of-way was. If you look on Beacon, it shows the sidewalk within the right-of-way. We wouldn't know it until we topo the corridor and figure out where all those pins are at.
So you're drawing plans already, and you don't know where this stuff's at?
What do you mean by drawing plans?
Do we have some plans drawn up already?
We did a conceptual design. So we basically matched what was existing and came up with some quantities to get a good conceptual cost. Did we design it? No.
The only good thing is with every property owner getting a brand-new sidewalk, they're never gonna be responsible to put a sidewalk in the future, considering the lifespan of the brand-new sidewalk.
Yeah.
So that's a plus.
just don't think it's a good idea to take the sidewalk out myself.
That is a good point in regard to the ongoing liability.
And you can say people walk on the street, yes, they do, but there's a sidewalk available and something happens, they can't come back at the city.
Why were you walking in the street? Because the sidewalk was removed. Yeah, it's a long shot, but
Put a sign up at both ends, closed in the winter, just like the city puts up.
Like going to the park.
The park's closed in the winter, Chris.
The park is closed in the winter, never heard that one.
You see many people down there?
The sidewalk closed, I didn't call, I don't need to call.
Well, you're worried about the liability of the city if they fall on my sidewalk. I'm liable.
Come up to the podium and speak.
Excuse me?
Come to the podium and speak.
So you're worried about the city's liability, but if somebody falls or a kid wrecks their bicycle on my sidewalk, I'm liable for it. It's my problem then.
I think that falls on the city.
Yeah, if it's on city property,
Yeah.
you're not wrong there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys wash your hands of it, but that's my problem.
What half?
Well, I had a claim against, I had a claim against me. I had a claim against me for somebody that fell on the sidewalk ahead of my house, and then it was determined that it was the city's liability and responsibility.
And then you're worried about the safety of everybody walking. Anybody goes to Oak Hill and they want to take a walk, they walk in
Yeah.
the streets.
It's true.
What happens if they fall down in front of,
Why don't you want?
Raker's
Why
house
don't?
or my brother's house or
Did you
anywhere?
buy a house with
Excuse
a
me?
sidewalk there?
Yeah, it was there.
Why do you want to get rid of it now?
The wintertime is the major reason. And the liability. there's
So
liability.
everybody else that has a sidewalk in town shovels their snow as well.
Absolutely.
So
But if
don't
we
you
wanna-
think if we set a precedence here, that everyone's gonna take their sidewalk out?
Well, if you want a precedence, then why aren't you requiring sidewalks in these new developments like Oak
That-
Hill?
that-
Why
I
aren't
had
you having
nothing to
all
do
the
with
people
that. That was
build
all
those?
done before me.
I know that, but that sidewalk was there before me. Yes, I bought it with it there, it was there. It was tore out once already. That sidewalk's less than 10 years old, probably 5 years old. And now the city's putting it back in again, spending money putting it back in again. And Steve just said, well, you won't have to do it in your lifetime. It's been done twice and I've
It's been
only
done
lived there. So how's it?
Have you paid for it?
Excuse me?
Did you have to pay for it the first time?
They wanted me to. Lansing come to me and said, well, what do you think about putting a sidewalk in? I said, well, that's fine, because they were doing it for Matt and Chris. He said, well, what do you think about doing it? I said, that's fine. He said, yeah, I think you can get a deal on it, because they're gonna be right here to do it. I said, if you want me to pay for it, I don't want it. And then he come back a week later and said, well, I talked to the other guys for aesthetic reasons and stuff. We'll just replace your sidewalk too. I said, that's fine, I'm not paying for it. And I didn't pay for it. But they wanted me to at first. So, I mean, I get but the liability falls on any of us if somebody gets hurt on our sidewalk. And like I said, you go to Oak Hill, you go to Conrad Acres, everybody's got to walk on the streets there. And the city's gonna be liable for anybody that falls and gets hurt there too. I mean, I get it, you gotta shovel your sidewalk, you got a sidewalk, I get it. But, I don't know, it's either liability on you or liability on the city or liability on the homeowner.
But we're having a problem with the 2 foot. So we're having a problem. It's not just a regular, like it's on your property or the city's property.
Chris,
It's
come
on-
on up.
Whatever.
Chris, come on up.
That's fine.
What's everybody want to do?
Well, I don't have any real estate for sale.
No, we don't. We have to decide on this right now?
And
Kind
I
of
mean-
need to keep moving the project so we can bid it out. in a
Well,
good
then,
time.
it's gonna take how long to get the easements if that's what we're going on. If that's what we have to do.
Well, that's if you guys vote to do that.
Well, how else do we do it? You said we have to do it that way.
what would the potential easement costs involve? Do just guess.
I don't remember, Deanna looked up what was generally paid for a permanent easement.
Yeah, we look at the value of the property, look at the square foot that we need to buy, and there's a calculation.
So I would say you're probably talking between the acquisition plat and paying the owner for the permanent easement, maybe like $1,500 a property maybe.
And then they still have to shovel their sidewalk.
I believe the city requires all.
We do.
Because right now, we're shoveling 2 foot of the city side, right? Because 2 foot that isn't.
Well, whether it's in right of way or not, I believe it's homeowner responsibility.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's homeowner's responsibility to maintain the sidewalk.
Even if it was all in the right of way, it's still up to the property owner.
Right, but we're shoveling for the city. We don't own it.
Well, yeah, I suppose. So, as the other thing, if you wanted to put it back without dealing with permanent easements, you could shift the roadway 1.5 to 2 foot to the east to accommodate it and make sure that the sidewalk worked within the existing right of way, and then you wouldn't have to take permanent easement.
Isn't there a goofy jog up there already?
There's a goofy jog at
On-
Hayes.
Yeah.
Once it turns south, it's straight.
No.
Yeah, right along the funeral home there, it's pretty straight right there. It doesn't, until it turns the corner and goes up.
Yeah. I mean, it's goofy where Hayes in front of the funeral home comes on to Third and Hayes Street to the south.
Can't remember which way it shifts, though. It's kind of,
How far would you have to go south of Fifth on the east side to blend that in so it'd be less recognizable?
We'd have about 70 foot from end of return to end of return.
To do
We're
that.
redoing that intersection anyway, so we're not doing any more street work.
Oh.
The only cost to the city would be, there'd probably be a couple of them driveways where we'd have to take
Cut 'em
another
back.
panel or two back to make everything tie together and improve the driveways. Other than that, I mean, the only thing you would see is if you're looking straight north and south, up and down that east curb line, you're gonna see it jog.
And the intake at the park entrance, could that be grated over?
Yeah, we'd
Rather-
probably have to put grates. I'd
Without-
have to look at it.
Without removing the catch
I don't know if we
basin?
can keep the
Yeah.
DOT style open throat. We might have to switch to the graded style to get that to work.
Mhm.
So that looks like it's all tilted that way.
We haven't got that far because we're not sure exactly where the roadway and everything's going yet, so. Another option that was brought up, I believe, was reducing the roadway width to make it fit. If you do that, you should not allow parking on both sides of the street. You would probably be forced to remove parking on one side because SUDAS, the 31 foot is minimum requirement for parking on both sides, so it's currently parking on both sides. Because I'm sure that would be pretty prickly with people that live there to get rid of parking on one side of the street, so. I would keep it 31 foot width
I would
and
keep.
accommodate on-street parking.
I think we should think about shifting the road.
What was that, Mark?
Shifting the road, like Steve said.
Put the sidewalk at the edge of the right of way?
Yep. And then go from there and see what it looks like.
Put it on
I
the
mean,
east side.
until you give us exact points. Put it right on the edge of their property line and build it from there.
That's an option, yeah.
Because appears to me, once you get by Ed Huffman's, it gets a lot narrower.
I think that does.
It does. Right past Matt and Jean's house. Kinda looks like me that the road shift is not in the right spot anyway.
What are we talking about?
So up
South
the last
Fifth.
south block to the south, from
Okay.
Fifth Street to Sixth Street. That street is narrow, appears to be narrower than from Fifth on down.
You're looking at Beacon?
I'm just looking at a picture of the street.
Okay. We didn't survey past Fifth intersection, so I don't have any data on that. but-
You should have data when you did all them other houses up there, don't you?
What's everybody think? There's a couple options to narrow up the roadway and do just one side parking and shift it over. Or the easements. Or removal.
I guess until I see where it can go and can't go, I'm not gonna make a decision on that.
Is there any way we could get it, put those lines where the easements and where the road would sit, we could get something, kind of give us an idea of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, we pretty much know this, which was provided at the last meeting, pretty much shows where existing is relative to existing right of way.
No, I meant like, if we shift that whole roadway, how far are we gonna have to shift it again?
Is it like 1.7 foot?
Yeah, roughly.
Shift it 1.7 foot to the east.
And that'd still give you both side parking?
And then you could put 4-foot sidewalk at the edge of right of way. You could keep 31-foot roadway width to allow on-street parking on both sides. And the only impacts would be, we might have a couple driveways where we gotta take another
Panels
half
back.
panel or another panel out to get them to tie in better.
Not a big deal.
And the other drawback would be when you get to the Fifth Avenue intersection, if you're looking straight north and south on that east curb line, you'll see that jog. It'll be 1.7 foot roughly.
Okay, gotcha.
So we have an intersection there to blend in that east curb line. You're not gonna probably notice it
It's not gonna be abrupt.
on the west side, no. We have like 70 foot. So we'll start at the north end of the intersection, that return. We'll start there and we'll go to the south end of that intersection reconstruction. So it'll be about 70 foot. We'll transition that curb line. So it's not gonna be abrupt.
This is probably. That's where it's.
That seems like the simplest option to keep sidewalks then.
I think so too.
And probably the most cost-effective as well.
The additional cost is not gonna be much. If you put it back where it is now, you'll have 7 property owners that we gotta get permanent easements from. If they're not agreeable, then you gotta pay legal proceedings to go through condemnation to put it back where it is now.
It's gonna be the cheaper route. That's what that translated into.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the time
Been
to
putting
get
it
all
back
that
where it
done.
should
That
be.
stretches it out tremendously.
Yeah, for that.
That's what makes the most sense to me at this point.
You mean to remove it, or?
Just shift the road.
To shift it.
Put the road back in it right away,
Yeah.
Yep,
where it should be.
for the foot. Just shift it.
I mean, even aesthetically, there shouldn't be much negative impact.
The only thing you're gonna notice, the only thing really you're gonna notice is the transition of that east curb line at the Fifth Avenue intersection. And that's if you're looking straight up and down the curb line.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're blending that stuff out in intersections, most people are not gonna notice
Because
it.
we could go a little further and blend
Mhm.
to that next driveway. So you can have, you'll have 1'7" in between these two.
So the only other drawback to that option would be, like I said, we haven't finally designed this, but we looked at the impacts to those driveways, and there'll probably be a couple driveways where we'll have to take a couple more panels out. So it'll be, say we have just pulling a number out, an additional $5,000 of driveway reconstruction by shifting the roadway around, a little less than 2 foot to the east.
How much less would it cost us to knock out the sidewalk?
It's already put in the price of the construction
Uh,
already.
Paint? I mean,
We're not in the business to take out sidewalks,
well, you gotta take it out regardless. It's coming out.
right? And it's going back in.
Why don't we put the sidewalk on the east side? You got right away for that, you're gonna tear up driveways.
No, we don't, Matt. It sits in their kittywampus. So we've got to get the street in our easement.
Within the easement.
Within the easement.
According to the map,
It's,
you got a 4-foot right of way on the east side, all the way along the. Look at it. You gotta tear up the driveways and move the road. Anyway, costs the same to put the sidewalk on that side as it does on our side.
then you have a sidewalk down at Rife's on that side of the road, and then this side of the road.
There's a lot of times that.
You're right,
A lot
but
of times. You get some yellow paint out and put your marker there and there's a crosswalk.
Yeah, but then we're having a discussion about putting in sidewalks instead of replacing existing sidewalks, and that becomes a whole nother issue because then you have a whole nother group of landowners that we have to have discussions about putting in a sidewalk. Oh, sorry. I said, then we're talking about a difference of replacing existing sidewalks and putting them where they were versus putting in new sidewalks
Where
in an
they
area
aren't.
that didn't have them before, which then entails talking to a whole nother set of owners to put in the sidewalks
But you
moving
have the
forward.
right of way there.
I know, I get we get the right of way.
You have the right of way.
Mhm.
You don't have to know easement or anything.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna move the road, you gotta tear up some side, the driveway anyway, so they.
The only thing I would say about putting it on the east is we'll have additional driveway impacts. I was looking at a few of the driveways. It's similar to shifting the road. We'll have a few of the driveways, we'll have additional impacts. We'll have to probably go back another panel to make sidewalk fit. We don't have room in the right of way when we get up to the corner at the Hiller property. So we either have to stop it short and go across the road there, or take a little corner of that so we can get an ADA ramp in there and get across the street.
What directions everybody want to go?
What do we gain by going to the east side, aside from, accommodating the wishes of the folks on the west side? What's the other benefit to shifting gears and going to the east side?
Well, it's in the right of way over there,
But if we shift it, we're still in the right of way.
Yeah. If we put the street where the street belongs, we're still in the right way. Sidewalks stay. So then what are you guys gonna do with your sidewalks that go nowhere?
There ain't gonna be no sidewalk.
Well, I see Justin Weber's got one, BJ Howard has one, Gherkins have one, Doug has
We
one.
were told that they put in enough to go from our sidewalk up our porch to the street. So whatever that. 3
We'll
foot from-
we'll put our 2 feet back in, right?
It'll go, the sidewalk will go to the back of curb, whether there's curb sidewalk there or not. The sidewalks from the front doors that go to the back of curb will be there. Whether it terminates at the edge of a sidewalk or terminates at the back of curb.
The only one that wasn't here the other night was the one down at Tim Messer's house. That was the only people. The rest of it was BJ Howard and Gherkins and all 8 of us, 7 of us said that, no, we don't want it.
Is a major reason the city wants it is for safety issues, is that what it wants, or I guess, why does the city want it?
We don't, so, Mayor, you can answer that.
This came up years ago about people wanting to take out sidewalks, and that was disallowed because they were already in there, and there were some of them never saw a footprint on them. But it was talked about at that time that if there's existing sidewalk there, it does not get removed.
I seen 3 properties that got removed.
There was some, yeah.
No, I know of 3 properties that were removed.
So like I said, if you're so concerned about having all sidewalks, why aren't they figured in this housing, the new housing developments and have sidewalks up there? It's such a concern with the cities that have sidewalks. Why aren't they in these new developments? I mean, if that's what you want us to do is save sidewalks, why are you requiring sidewalks in all the new developments?
You just put Parkview in, they don't have a sidewalk, that's brand new, that's
Yeah.
our neighborhood.
I mean, you're concerned about saving 3 city blocks of sidewalks, and you're allowing all this new building going on, and there's no sidewalks.
I think that's a valid discussion that needs to be had at some point. I think at some point, we are gonna have to have a full-on debate or discussion in figuring out the plan for sidewalks in the city. As we're a town of 2,500 or heading toward 3,000 now, we can get away with a lot of things that when we turn into a town of 5,000 or 6,000 or more, it's gonna be a whole different story when we have kids trying to do a lot more traffic or deal with a lot more traffic down the roads. I think we're going to have to come to a conclusion on that, what way or another we go, which I know is a very divisive issue because there's very heated thought processes on both sides of it. I think that tearing out is a difficult thing for ones that are there, because if you have to go back, it's gonna be hard to get them back, and somebody's gonna get assessed for it down the road. And sidewalks are important. We have to have them in the town at different points. I wouldn't say it's necessary at all the points, but I think there are definite areas, main streets, main things for people to get to stores, and schools and stuff like that, child safety. Just like we have the walkway trying to connect Oak Hill down to the grocery stores and stuff like that. They have their place. We gotta have them in town. I hate to see them go out, and I understand the frustration over here is because you got a sidewalk that goes nowhere. So, but,
Sidewalk goes nowhere.
I don't think that one really goes anywhere, does it?
Around the corner and keeps going.
Does it
goes
go
back
around the
down
corner? I
brand
thought
new
it went,
street
I
that we
thought it
just put
ended at
in.
the end of it there.
Fifth Avenue, it turns and goes
Does
to
it go to the
west,
west?
and it goes down, all the way back down Garfield.
And then goes down Garfield, okay, yeah. Sorry.
I think the goal when you do a renovation project should be to leave it as good or better than what it was when we get there. And when you remove the sidewalk, you're taking something away that was there beforehand. You know, that's not an improvement. That's not part of improving the community. It's maybe making your guys' lives easier with the snow shoveling and stuff, but in the best interest of the city and the community, I think that's my position, is we want to leave it as good or better than what it was.
So it's 2 foot,
Well, start the project.
but it's 2 foot.
But it won't, if I'm understanding correctly, Chris, it won't be 2 foot anymore by the time they shift it over. Is that correct?
We can shift it to get it within the right of way.
So that was kind of what spoke out to me about the situation, was that we can put things as they should be, keep the sidewalk, do what's in the best interest of the city, and still maintain what was there ahead of time as good or better.
Is there a significant difference in price from putting it on the east side, like we suggested? Nobody seems to want to talk about that.
What are you gonna do down by Fred Fisher's?
Cross it. There's a lot of places the sidewalk ends and you gotta cross the street, then you're rolling in front of.
Matt, how many years have you lived at your place?
Since 1970.
And you've had a sidewalk ever since?
I know, south of us, there used to be a sidewalk.
Where it is, used to be a sidewalk.
I remember that.
The principal other thing, yes, I can see your point that you want to make it better, but to us, why aren't you making it better in the subdivisions and all those other places? But you're making us keep ours, but you don't put new ones in when you should.
Yeah, you're talking
Where
about our-
there's kids that play and everything.
You're talking about our city growing and everything that you're developing and growing, you're not putting sidewalks in, you're trying to keep what's existing, and you're talking about us wanting, that
Yeah, yeah.
sidewalk's gonna be torn out no matter what, it's gonna be torn
Doug,
out.
none of us were here when those subdivisions started. Correct?
Well, I get that, but.
I understand what you're
Decisions
saying.
were made, I mean, they were made.
I understand that.
And we're making decisions for this to now. I mean,
Yeah,
we can
we're
move
going
for
forward.
that.
We're not looking back.
But you should have.
But we weren't
We
here.
weren't here.
We weren't here to make
For
this.
Parkview, you guys.
I was not.
Well, you drew their exception.
Parkview does not have enough room.
Then it shouldn't have been plotted that way. There's not enough room in our street either, then in our sidewalk, because you only have 2 feet.
And you say now you can move it, but it's still gonna add cost to moving it, some cost, it's gonna add some cost to that.
No, because they haven't, it's not done yet. It's not started yet.
But you're already saying if you move it to the east, that's gonna add cost to that, moving it, right, moving it to the east. You don't know what it's gonna cost, but there's gonna be added cost by moving it to the east. If you just get, if you get rid of the sidewalks, you lose the cost of it. I know you gotta figure it in there, but if you take it out, that's money you're not spending. I know it's figured into the estimate now, but it's, if you don't replace them, you're not spending that money. And now if you shift it to the east, you're spending more money again, and you're replacing your sidewalk.
They don't walk on the sidewalks anymore. They're on the street.
Next time you say something, Chris, come up to the podium. That goes for everyone.
Somebody want to make a motion, one way or the other?
I'm gonna make a motion to move the street and put sidewalks back to where, on the same side.
And retain the 31-foot width to accommodate on-street parking on both sides? I just
Yes.
want that clear.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Motion by Gale,
I'll second it.
second by Delaney. We need a roll call.
We do.
Yeah.
Raker,
Aye.
Weber,
Aye.
Gale,
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Number eight, Bergen KDV to present fiscal year 25 audit report.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me get him up here. Dustin, you're about to come on. Give me 1 second.
PowerPoint on it, or do they have copies of it?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, does it work for me to share my screen with the PowerPoint, or do you have physical copies of it?
I'm gonna have you
Or
share
what-
your
what works
screen with the
best?
PowerPoint. Give me 1 second. I just gotta get set up on my end here.
Bert, you want to shut that door? Thank you.
All right, you are a go. Oh, hold on. Maybe not. Thought I had sound on, but apparently. Now, can you hear me? Can you say something?
Yeah,
Okay.
if I can hear you, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, can you see the PowerPoint, which it says City of Cascade?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I got a little bit of a transfer going here. Go ahead and say something once.
Can you hear me?
Everybody hear that good enough?
Yep.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Was it the old Verizon commercials? Can you hear me now? Okay, so hopefully you can hear me and you can see my PowerPoint and, I don't know, the numbers are easy, technology always seems to be the biggest struggle for me anyway. Well, my name's Dustin, I'm an audit director with Bergen KV. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present in front of you today, virtually in front of you. If you have any questions as I go through my presentation, feel free to stop me. I'm pretty passionate about city finance, so I usually will go through the whole thing without taking a breath.
You got on mute, no?
I think I did.
Oh, I don't know, maybe I muted myself by accident. Can you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
The first couple of slides are the different reports that we issue, the first one being the independent auditor's report. It's the most important communication that you receive from us. It's essentially what you pay us for. To come in, test, examine, issue an opinion on your financial statements. The city of Cascade is on the cash basis, which is an other basis of accounting other than GAAP. And so we give a clean opinion on the cash basis. I don't know how much of that you heard because it said I got muted again.
No, we heard you. You're good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's muted again. Oh, no, he's good.
All right. Next is the government auditing standards report. So because you're in a city in the state of Iowa, we're required to look a little bit closer at compliance with laws, contracts, grant agreements, and internal controls. And so no compliance finding related to this work. We did have 2 material weaknesses, which is the highest level finding. The first one being the lack of segregation of accounting duties related to the small number of office staff. And the second one relates to the utility, just a material audit adjustment. So anytime we have to make any adjustments to the data that we get from the city or the utility, we're just required to disclose those. And so we had one adjustment this year related to the utility. The second bullet point there, Iowa Code of Compliance. The Office of the State Auditor gives us a series of checklists to complete related to state statutes. And so 2 findings related to that. The first one being you have a couple of funds that are in deficit, nothing too crazy. And there are plans for both of them, just something we're required to disclose. And then there was a second finding related to one questionable disbursement that we identified as part of the audit. Moving on to the general fund. So looking at the general fund cash balance, overall it did decrease by about $94,000. Your fund balance policy looks to have about 20% of expenditures in that fund balance, and at the end of the year, you were at about 28.7% in that unassigned fund balance. On the receipt side, total receipts decreased by about $478,000. Almost all of that is in this intergovernmental category related to the one-time catalyst and downtown housing grants you got last year. And then on the disbursement side, total disbursements increased 1.3% to 29,000. There was some movement in between categories. So community and economic development decreased related to the downtown housing grant. More of that happened in 2024 than 2025. And then capital outlay increased related to the purchase of a fire truck. And then general government decreased slightly related to some staff turnover and just paying fewer salaries. We also look at the enterprise funds, so they're your water and sewer funds. These are expected to run more like a business. Hopefully the amounts you're charging your customers are enough to sustain operations. The top with assault with the next slide, that is your cash balance, because this is only operating items. So capital, debt service, insurance proceeds, transfers in and out, those aren't included in these numbers. So like if you look at water, there was a $132,000 loss this year. It's a little confusing because there was a large insurance proceed for $133,000 that's not included in this number. So because it's considered not operating. So if you included that in this number, this would have just about broken even this year. And then on the sewer side, pretty consistent operating income. Last year was the lowest in the 5 years presented, and then same thing with water, lowest in the 5 years presented. So just, something that we want you to keep an eye on as far as rates and operations, just to make sure those funds can sustain themselves. So you have to take that slide with this slide, which is the actual cash position. Cash position for the water fund did increase by $150,000 related to the local option sales tax transferred in $200,000 into this fund, and then the sewer cash balance stayed pretty consistent year over year, slightly decreasing. That's me. This is how you would get a hold of me if you ever have any questions. City finances is intense and complicated and wild, so anything I can ever do to make your lives or jobs easier, I'm definitely here for it. But I'll take any questions if you have them.
I think that's it, Dustin.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 9, consideration to approve resolution number 4-26, a resolution accepting Bergen KDV's financial audit of the City of Cascade's 2025 fiscal year, which began July 1, 2024, and ended June 30th, 2025. I need a motion on this.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
I'll second it.
second by Gale. Roll call.
Weber,
Aye.
Gale,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Raker.
Aye.
Number 10, consideration to approve resolution number 3-26, a resolution amending EMS volunteer stipends beginning February 1, 2026 for the City of Cascade, Iowa.
I'll make a motion to approve this.
Motion by Delaney,
Second.
second by Raker. Roll call.
Gale,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Raker,
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Number 11, discussion to allow St. Aquinas Food Pantry to relocate temporarily to the old library during their construction.
Just so everybody's clear about this, I have been dealing with Shelley Schlemme, and there was a little confusion on her end. So they may be using and opening the pantry while it's there, or they might just be wanting to store things there while their construction is going on.
Just stores.
Yeah.
Product over here.
Yeah. And she needed to talk to Father about that, and Father must be on vacation or something, so.
So the storage option would work.
Yeah, yep. So if you guys decide that that's an okay option, just, approve it that they can store
Store.
things there, or they can, if they decide to open it while temporarily, then that would be okay as well.
What's the timeline on that construction?
It's like a month, so pretty much the
So
month
it's
of
short-
February.
Short
Yeah.
term.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Motion by Delaney, second by Weber. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Number 12, discussion on the request from CEDC and allocated funds in fiscal year '26, and this has been tabled. You want to leave that tabled and bring it back up once we get farther in? Okay. Reports, Fred,
I don't have anything at this time.
Tyler? Deanna?
Just a few things. I submitted the annual gaming report for the fire department raffle. We have to do that annually. As you saw, we got our audit reports, and the auditors were here tonight. On January 12th, we had our 11-month walkthrough at the library, and you received the copy of those notes in your packet. So we'll be addressing those issues. The water and sewer rates were updated and will be reflective on the bills that are getting mailed out at the end of, probably been mailed out. We're still working on balancing everything with our November bank statement with our new software. We're not sure what the issue is. We're gonna be on a meeting tomorrow to hopefully work through this. So that's why you still haven't got November and December bank statements, but we're working on the issue. And then the state legislators are back in session, and of course, they're discussing amending a property tax reform bill. So I included a copy of the governor's in your packet, and then I'm not sure if you guys all received emails from about other versions of that bill coming out. It would have came from Ed Raber. If you didn't get it, I can forward the email to you, but the Senate is proposing a slight variation of the governor's bill. The House is also providing an amendment to what the governor's doing, but, so that, it depends, you know, whatever happens, it may affect us with our budget, but,
When is this supposed to go to vote? Do you- any idea?
I'm sorry?
Any idea when this is supposed to go in for vote?
Well, they'll probably try to get it in this year, I mean, this session yet, or try,
Okay.
so.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much all I have.
Then we'll go to number 14, fiscal year '27 budget workshop. Police.
So you guys have hard copies of it, but then I'm having Mike put it up on the screen as well.
Hold on.
Try and put it up on the screen.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
It's fighting me here. I like that.
We're getting there.
Very.
So for you, the ones of you, like you, that have never been through this, this is basically first step. Like the department heads come to council, they present what they'd like, and then at a later council meeting, we will dig into the budget more to see if we can approve everything they are asking, if everything balances, or what we need to cut or trim or whatever.
Understood, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So Deanna and I kind of worked on this together. She actually made some changes. There's a couple things I forgot. If you look at the salaries, they definitely look higher. And kind of the reason is we are looking at possibly hiring that third full-time guy. So that's kind of the main increase for that. Part-time went up a little bit. We've got a little bit less for the overtime wages, hoping that if we do hire a third full-timer, we can utilize part-time more. That's gonna help us out there. Yep, wages, FICA. Yeah, I really don't deal with FICA, Medicare, IPERS a whole lot. That's kinda.
So all, once, you know, if you know anything about payroll, if your wages go up, it affects FICA, Medicare, IPERS, workers' comp, all of that stuff also increases. So that's why if the salaries go up, all that stuff also increases.
Yep. Uniform allowance, we put an additional 2,000 on that. Basically, we figure about 2,000 an officer, so that's the increase there. Travel, training, conference, that is gonna stay the same. Fuel, gonna go up about $1,000 more. Basically, if we've got more people using the car, we're probably gonna use a little bit more fuel. Vehicle radio maintenance, we kept that the same. Internet, we increased that just slightly. General insurance went up a little bit.
Vehicle
Professional.
maintenance, or, radio maintenance went up 3,500, didn't it?
No, radio?
Proposed, wasn't it 35?
So, okay, so let
Oh.
me explain this to you.
Okay, you're approved.
There's three
Okay,
columns
gotcha,
here. The
gotcha,
first
yeah.
column is what was approved. That was the approved budget for the year we're in. The middle column is proposed to be amended, because that is also part of my budget process. I have to know what we're amending the budget for
And then the other three
when we get
columns
to
are-
that point. And then the third column is what they're proposing for this next fiscal year.
Yeah, and this is a new format for me also, so I'm learning it
Gotcha, gotcha.
kind of as they are. Telephone, internet went up a little bit, about $1,000. Again, general insurance, about $500. Professional fees, we're gonna keep that kind of the same. That went up a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, not too much. Office supplies, we'll probably use a little bit more for office supplies. Operational fees are going up a couple $1,000s. Postage, that's kind of been staying pretty steady. Same thing with the National Night Out or the Crime Night Out. And we do get a lot of
Sponsors.
donations and stuff too for that, that is kind of over and above that. Capital equipment, you'll see a rather large increase there. The older squad car that we have is a 2017, so probably this fall, we're gonna start looking at replacing that car. We kind of the goal is to keep them 10 years. I'm driving a 2021, so the 2017 will be replaced. So that's kind of where that increase came from. And yeah, so the budget went up a little bit more.
And isn't there also, for the capital equipment, 2 in-car cameras
Oh,
that you had
yes.
discussed?
Forgot about that. Yeah, we haven't had, the 2017 is the last car we put an in-car camera in. We got that used from, I believe, Jones County. We've gotten a lot of used equipment from, and that actually died on us about 3 years ago, so we don't have in-car cameras in either one of the cars right now. And I know that's kind of been a discussion over the years to get those back in, so. Any questions?
Thanks, Fred.
Thank
Short
you.
and sweet. Next.
Fire. I don't have the other sheets, so I'll try to go out there.
Have them.
Right here, take mine.
I don't think we increased our budget, very much from what I remember. I'm just looking at the sheet now, I guess, but
The
we
only
tried not to
thing-
make any
yeah.
big jumps. I think our major jumps were things out of our control, insurance, workers' comp.
Workers' comp.
We talked in our little budget meeting, unfortunately, we're the most expensive ones to cover workers' comp wise. I don't know why that is, but. Other than that, we're trying to keep things leveled out and the same. We do obviously, we have some rigs that we need to start working on, but being the department with, I think we have the smallest budget, but we also have the largest amount of equipment, I think, too, so, as far as vehicles go. And as everybody who was here when we bought our last fire truck found out, they're not cheap, so.
No.
There's been a lot of discussion in the last year at the department on what we think we can make work as far as, even considering having to look into like a used option. There are some obvious, concerns in that, right, but we're gonna have to start making some changes, and there's some plans starting to come into place for that, to hopefully have some recommendations here soon. Other than that, we are sitting pretty good as far as the budget items go. We're still working on planning to replace some gear. That was something we started a couple years ago to try to stay ahead of. It's another thing that's really expensive, and when you wait till it's all due and then hope for a grant, you don't get said grant, because they're getting harder and harder to get, that makes it really rough, so. We did all the helmets a couple years ago, I think that was 2 now. We're working on boots. They're all supposed to be replaced every 10 years, but we try to stretch some things as far as we can. The physical gear itself is obviously the biggest concern. And then we were just gonna be purchasing some new hose. We haven't done that in several years. So we usually have it budgeted, but we don't purchase it, rolling it over to our truck fund, just trying to build that. But it's gotten to a point where we're gonna have to buy a few more sections this year. We just have some that are wearing out, so. Other than that, I guess, I'm proud to announce we are back at 30 members. So it's been a long pull for the last couple of years.
That's a good thing.
It is a very good thing. And we're starting to see a lot of younger members. I mean, how old's your boy?
22?
22. I think I got probably 6 or 8 guys now under the age of 30, which is a very good thing in our business, but hasn't been the norm, so. We actually have 7 or 8 of them in firefighter 1 right now. Coming out of COVID, we allowed a little bit of a leniency also to get people to join, but the time has come where we pushed everybody, and it's nice they all get to go as a group, so. That'll be a big addition to the group when we're down at 24. That gets kind of sketchy, so. Our call volumes, I couldn't find last year's. The state changed their software, and I couldn't get it to rerun. I do know that they're down a little bit, which again is always a good thing for us. The breakdown, I think if I had last year's here, you'd see that very similar in the pie chart I have there. You know, the city usually accounts for about half the calls. When you look at that, we got places that have alarms and stuff. You're just gonna have more smaller calls here more frequently than you do outside of the city. We had our fair share of structure fires spread between the two this year. We had one out in the rural area that was pretty large, and there was a house in town that burned down earlier this year too, so. That kind of goes either way. It is one of the first years in a long time that we've had a call in every one of our districts too, so. Some of them are pretty tiny little swatches of land, so. And then that all districts place there, that just signifies things like storm watches, and parades, and things that we go out on. So again, it benefits everybody, but you know, we always kind of joke it's really more benefit to the city. We're closing out on that there usually. My little pie chart, I apologize, shows a lot of options there. There's a lot of different calls. You can see we kind of have things spread out over a large call volume type. I know I was talking to Kim a little bit ago. I think last year even, we got to say, I think 50% of our calls were assisting the ambulance service. They dropped to 24 this year. That's awesome. That means they're having a better time too, so. Still going on, still, guys are, you know, willing to help, and that is increasing some with the new guys too, so. Other than that, like I said, you can see there was 3 building fires there. I guess I can't think of what the third one is off the top of my head, but, there's a lot of grass fires this year, stuff like that, so. Been pretty calm that way, trying to keep it that we obviously we work hard at, fire prevention time, you know, we go to schools, and I think every call that we've ever had in town that the kids went to our school, we always hear that, you know, my kid was yelling, we need to go to our meeting place and stuff like that. So those things do work, and, you know, that's something that our guys do a good job of taking time out of their days to go to. I tried to include in there the time of day, just you guys can kind of see when the calls happen. Obviously, he's jumping over, you can go through there and see there's a list of every call that we've had in every district and what it was, but that's just kind of informational there for you. But, you know, our big times a day are always gonna be that, coming home from work hour really seems to push, and then right around school time too, so. Those are 2 times that obviously we have the least amount of people in town too. Usually everybody that is out of town is just coming back. But we do pretty well. I would say on average it's 7 people even during the day yet, so we're fortunate to have several people that work in town and employment that allows them to leave, so. We gave a little help this year, and we received a little help from outside agencies. had some fires way down south in our Wildwood district down there. That we got some help from Wyoming a couple times, and then Monty on a call out in Richland Road. We had a fire out there. That was one of them really weird calls. You know, it's, 1 o'clock on a Monday, or I'm sorry, a Wednesday. Kids get out of school. Firemen are picking up their kids. There was 2 of us that were able to go. Thank God we have backup, and it happened to be, it's the last house between us and Monty. So Monty actually was paged first. We arrived to our fire to greet Monticello and ask what they needed from us. So we helped them, and they actually finished things up, and we came back. That's what the fire service does. We go both, you know. It wouldn't matter if none of us could have gone, they would have come and taken care of it for us. So it's good to have that relationship with them. And we went over to Bernard, Monticello. There are only 2 ones that we had to go over to, so. Couple of house fires in Monticello and a car accident out on 151 with Bernard's. I would say that's kind of all I got. Any questions for me? Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bert. Good job. EMS, Kim.
So, yeah, we definitely have some changes in our budget. Starting with our salaries, we are running a lot more calls. So back in 2024, we only had 306 calls, and last year we had 340. So we're spending a lot more time running calls, so that affects the salaries part. However, what you guys had amended tonight was in regards to our students. Like, instead of paying them at the $19, like the driver rate, if they're in the student role, then they're only getting paid the $10 rate, means that they're in training. So along with that increase there, then of course the increase in FICA, Medicare, and IPERS all takes place in there. Uniform allowance was the same. Travel and training conferences. So I guess we kept that at the same. However, we do have one student that's just finished class, so she'll be taking her test. And then we have another student that's in the paramedic program. And I think that class doesn't actually wrap up till sometime in the summer. And then we have another student that will be starting the EMT class in February.
Awesome.
Yeah, so in 2025, we ended the year, well, I guess it's still the same today. We have 12 people on our crew. We added 4 people last year.
Nice.
So you're at 12 or you're at 16?
We're at 12 now.
Oh, okay.
So we added a nurse, like with 30 plus years of nursing. We added an EMT, and then we have 2 students. And one of those students needs to take the test, and then the other student will be taking the class next month.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's exciting to have these new members. But we are hosting a class here in Cascade starting February 3rd. So you can sign, people that are interested can get a hold of City Hall people, me, anybody on the crew. You need to be signed up by February 2nd, because obviously we're still looking for more people. And our busiest time of day is Fridays. I didn't make beautiful pie charts like you, Bert. I'm so sorry. I will make a note for next year. So our busiest days are Fridays at 10 in the morning and 6 in the evening on Fridays. That's what 2025 was. 2 years prior, it was Sundays, evenings was the common time. Back to the budget. Employee recognition, kept that at the same. Building repair and maintenance, we did increase that a little bit because of, we have cleaning and pest control on that one. Fuel, we actually kept the same, even though we are running more calls. When we got looking at our fuel bill, some of the LP that we used to heat the building was being put under fuel, so we switched that will be getting switched over to utilities, like those LP. Any future LP uses will be put under utilities, so then you're gonna see down 2 more lines that are utilities. We increased that to accommodate that LP usage up there. Repairs and maintenance, the same. Telephone and internet down a little bit, because we had looked at our FirstNet bill, and so we aren't using all the same equipment anymore. So we were able to remove a few devices that we aren't currently using. Insurance, that's a you guys thing, but that did increase a little bit. Medical expenses, worker, volunteer compensation, rent, that's, set in stone. Radios and equipment, we did up a little bit by $1,000. Equipment's not cheap. Professional fees, so this is like a big jump right here that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So currently we're using a program called Image Trend, and we're charged $500 a month, or excuse me, a year on that. It's a very basic program. To pull reports out of theirs, I'd rather pull my hair out. So we're looking into a program called ESO, and unfortunately it is $5,600 the first year, and it does have like $600 of that dollars is just the setup fee. In there, we would be able to, instead of us faxing our reports over to the hospital, we would be able to just click a button at the end of the report and it would automatically send. It's user-friendly, it's more like push button. We can use it on our tablets in the rigs, and we can be doing reports while we're doing patient care, unless it's a high acuity call, because then that's all patient care. So my goal with this is, because currently when we have a call, when we get back, it's about an hour of report time. That one person has to sit down and do the report. So hopefully our hours that we put in will be a little bit less, because we'll spend less time sitting at a computer typing all of our information in, and that we'll be able to do a lot more of our report while we're moving in the rig, whether it's taking the patient in or while we're coming back. Should be able to wrap up a lot of that while we're in transport one way or another. Use our time well that way. Also, it has really good features like keeping track of our training, our licenses, another feature like with training. So when we do a call and we never know what the patient's outcome is, other than the fact that we're from a small town and we all know what the neighbor's doing. So, that's how we usually hear like how our patient ended up. But with this ESO program, we're able to get back a little bit of information and see some of the doctor notes, so it can tell us like on things that we could have potentially done differently while the patient was in our care, like to give them a better outcome. So that's part of the training in that. But unfortunately, that ESO program, like I said, was $5,600 the first year. And something else I had talked to Deanna about, but this isn't probably not this coming up fiscal year. It's a program called Mobile X. So Dubuque County currently uses MCT for their part of their dispatching, and we're on the iPads, all the information that is given to dispatch from the patient or whoever makes the call in to dispatch, it would show up on the iPad, because we're not getting a lot of information from dispatch. They give us pretty basic. We're asking a lot of questions to dispatch, especially just falls. Well, are they still on the floor? Are they inside or outside? Which is key this time of the year, or if they're outside. If they're on the fall, are they complaining of leg, hip, head pain? Dispatch just isn't always telling us this information. But as for Mobile X, not a clue on the pricing on that right now. The current MCT program that they're using, it's approximately $360, but I talked to Dubuque IT last week, and they don't have any idea if it would be same, less, more. But that's not really what I'm, looking for in this current fiscal year that we're talking about.
What would be the advantage of that versus the new system?
So we can't even, well, we could go on to MCT right now, but MCT is switching over roughly, say, September, so sometime this fall, to this Mobile X.
Okay.
So anybody that's already using MCT, they're gonna have to do an upgrade.
Gotcha.
So.
And this will give you more detailed information just right on the
Yeah.
iPad for when you show up at the scene.
Correct. Well, when we show up to the rigs.
Right.
So then not only
Oh,
that,
gotcha.
it gives us that, but it'll give us like all of our call time. And then, forgot to mention, so ESO and MCT or Mobile X, they're meshed together where all the call time information and like all the patient disposition information that dispatch is getting and typing in their program, it automatically meshes into the ESO for our report. So then it's less room for error, like when we're typing in. So otherwise we have to type in times, like we were paged out, times we went en route, like all that, we're all
You
typing.
got more of a documentation of all of it.
Yeah, and so it's like automatic things, like it meshes. So yeah, that one had a big jump there for budget. Office supplies, we actually come down a little bit, but that's like also including our water softener and our oxygen that we use. Operating supplies and materials, we kept the same at 22. Postage, we upped a little bit. Other supplies and capital equipment's all the same. So yeah, last year we had the 340 calls. We had, of those, 66 were refusals. 23 times was awesome. That we only had to call fire 23 times, which is huge considering the number of calls we had. I should have looked up what the previous year, how many times we called you. So we have a class coming up. As of this date compared to this date in a year ago, we're 7 calls ahead of the previous year. So we're starting out strong. Do you guys have any more questions?
How's the new cot working?
Good. Very
I didn't hear
good.
anything
It better be.
about it, so I figured it must
Yeah.
have been smooth.
Not to put you on the spot,
Oh,
but,
well, I use it all the time, so I don't have a problem asking or answering any questions on that. It gets used, there's no doubt. Up and down, up and down. I can't imagine life without the powered cats, so.
Yeah, no kidding.
thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa?
Here we go.
I will ask you to kindly pass those down. I'm sorry, I may not have enough for both.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Just wanted to share a little bit about our 24-25 year. So our mission and our goals remain the same from last year. We will be getting into strategic planning again in next year, so the state requires we update our strategic plan for accreditation every so many years. So we're getting to the end of our current one shelf life. So currently, our collection count sits at 16,280 books, and then there's the mobile hotspots, board games, puzzles, Steam kits. We're getting ready to add a tool library, as you may have heard. Our DVD and audiobook collection count has gone down from last year. It was 1,600, and that number is decreasing. It's just a shift, a change in how people choose to view. They tend to use our downloadable materials more, so they have access to 2,186,880 ebooks through Libby and Hoopla, and the audiobooks that they have access to are about 353,000 through that. There's a page that shows kind of the material use, which is just physical materials that we have in-house. I think my stat on, let's see here, I'm looking. I mean, between all of those things and then, people using the e-resources, it's a rough estimate because Hoopla and Libby don't tell me, they tell me what we spend. They don't tell me, like, if you went out and bought this audiobook, it would cost you $15 or $12. So, we figured out approximately $555,000 is saved by people in the community using the library in a year. We've had our entering go up, and our people with library cards has also gone up. Computer and Wi-Fi services, we have more people using them. The hotspot picture is the old hotspot picture. I couldn't see, trying to find one of the new ones. We just replaced all of them. We offer 330, this past year went up in programs offered. We went from 300 some to 337. 6,313 participants, and you can see all throughout some of the different things that that we do and some of the programs offered. And of course, you know, I didn't feel like it'd be complete without showing at least one empty shelf and part of the move at the end. This is we're getting into March, will be our first full year in the new building, so I feel like, and the board definitely felt like we're still kind of figuring things out. I know there are some areas when we went through our budget from last year in looking at this year that, you know, we're either over on or, you know, and some of that is just moving. I mean, anyone that's moved can tell you you're gonna go somewhere different and you're gonna say, oh, I need X, Y, and Z. So, Deanna helped with the salaries, the wages, the FICA, all the good insurance stuff. Travel, training, and conference, we kept the same. Building and repair and maintenance, that's gone up significantly from the other building, but, you know, we tripled in size, so some of that is, I know the cleaning costs go in there, and then pest control, and then, I don't know, is there, Deanna, do you know, were there other things that?
That's basically the big reason for that increase is the cleaning.
Okay. Repair and maintenance of equipment. I mean, hopefully we don't run into too much of that with new items, but it doesn't hurt to plan for that. Telephone, utilities and telephone, Deanna helps with that one. Software, let's see. We did increase that some. We have added a new software tool that we're going to start using. It's called Beanstack, and what it will do will help everyone track their reading, so adults, kids, whomever. It'll help us promote our programs to the school. It'll basically be an app, and every time there's a program, people can get an alert like, hey, check this out at the library. We're really excited about it. So it should roll out in time for summer reading this year. Professional fees. I'm trying to remember what we put in there, Deanna. Professional fees.
Probably the fees for the fire alarm system.
Oh, yeah.
That's the big one. That's like $2,000.
Oh, okay, yep. So,
And my,
Delaney PC and then the copy machine
Mhm.
also.
yep.
Let's see,
These
so
are expensive.
books, we raised it a little bit just based on everything going up. And, you know, hopefully our e-resources continue to get used. So the one we have a set price on, we pay at the beginning of the fiscal year. The other one is a pay per use, so we try to sometimes adjust, you know, based on how much people are using it, or we kind of have rolled back on some of our advertising of the one, just to try to rein the cost in a little bit, but items can cost us, I'd say between $2 and just under $4 a checkout, and everyone gets 4 currently, so, you know, we have to just kind of look at how it's doing and see if we have to make an adjustment, which we've done a few times if we've needed to. Supplies, so, yeah, we went through our supply budget pretty quickly this year, and I'm thinking some of that has to do with the move. Some of it is higher use, like we're going through more paper towels and toilet paper and all those kinds of things. I know there were some one-time costs that we had in office supplies, but we also tried to think, will there be one-time costs, you know, next year? There's always little things that it's like, oh, we need this now. So, miscellaneous, we just kind of looked at the last couple of years' budget. Postage, I mean, admittedly, we've done some mailing. Most of our interlibrary loan materials we're able to send through a van that, it's the AEA van now. But, so the state kind of assumes a lot of the cost of the postage that we might otherwise pay. Building maintenance and supplies. Yeah, I think that would have been more this year just with the move and everything, but it looks like then we, after an amendment, then we just go back to our normal. And then program materials, I mean, you know, we continue to try to offer more programs. Programmers charge more every year too, just because they travel and it's their time and expenses, so sometimes those go up, but we kind of kept that where it was. And a little bit in capital and equipment in case there's something new that we want to get. Nothing in capital improvements. I think we've done the capital improvements, so.
Any questions?
Looks good.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
That wraps it up. If there's nothing else for the betterment of the community, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Weber,
Second.
second by Raker, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, everybody.